Hey guys, welcome back to Micho Makes. My name is Micho. I'd like to make stuff. Today I've caught part number 47 of the Toyota Sprinter Trueno AE86 by DeAgostini. This is the 1/8 scale massive model that we're building together, so without further ado, let's just jump right into this one. Okay, starting off, we've got our cover, more frames, got our parts here, and you can take a look right away. What we're going to be working on is the front radiator, it looks like. And we've got our book. Let's take a look at what's inside. It looks like we're going to be looking at the the AE86, or oh, it looks like we actually have the pickup too as well, the Hilux. Let's take a look. All right, let you guys make sure that it gets into focus for you, and you can pause and read that if you'd like. But it looks like we have almost like the inspiration after the 86 was introduced, and what kind of came and inspired this version of the 86, the newer one, the updated one. Obviously known as the FT86 in America. They were, I don't know, okay, I'll be honest with you, I don't know too much about these, other than obviously they try to inspire a lot off the AE86, off of these rear-wheel drive, manual gearbox, if that's an option if you want. Try to keep it pretty much balanced, but they definitely did use the Subaru Boxer engine, which, you know, as a Toyota doing it usually inline 4 with the 4AG, and this is kind of a, I guess you call it flat 4. I'm not too sure of the terminology, but it's a Boxer engine, so the pistons go laterally versus, you know, up and down. But overall, you know, having a fun, sporty car that Toyota had been known for back in the day, these coming out, gosh, back in, what was it, 2012 it says, was a really good refresher for Toyota, because they had basically become a lot of known for kind of boring cars. Like their Camry and Corolla were the best-selling vehicles that they had, that just were commuter cars really, and so they kind of lost that luster. And with the president coming in, who was actually part of the Toyota family, and really kind of refreshing the brand. He's the driver, which is really great. We've seen the new stuff back now in 2025 with Gazoo Racing putting out new stuff. The Supra coming out, new Supra coming out with the BMW engine, and actually, just I believe it was today or yesterday, they just re-announced a re-releasing of the Celica 2 as well. So Toyota is making strides into making amends for years or even decades of boring kind of commuter cars, and really kind of getting into and leading into this kind of enthusiast level. Obviously, there's room to improve. You're right. The soul is there, though. The intention is there, and I think that's really what's really great. You know, looking at the interior of the FT86. I don't own one of these. I think it'd be really cool to own one of these. I have driven one, but it was a Subaru version, the BRZ, and it was set up for more of a rally configuration, but with front engine, rear power FR setup. See that? And you know, it's always kind of interesting to see that kind of collaboration between Subaru and Toyota, and how they kind of got this all working together. Make sure you guys can actually read this and stay in focus. My apologies if it's you're having focusing issues too as well. Cool. The Hilux Surf. also known as the Forerunner in America. This is the Gen 1 that you can see here. And I have a little special place in my heart for Forerunners because I have a 4th gen. And with the V8 too as well. With the 2U ZFE, but this is obviously the 1st gen Forerunner. And they had basically the same front end as the pickup that they had back in those times. But this is obviously the 1st gen Forerunner where they actually had the the covered top on there, hard top in the back. Let you read that real quick. I believe, these were also called the Hilux in Japan and a lot of other countries. If you've ever seen Top Gear, you are very familiar with these vehicles just because Clarkson did a whole segment on why were these vehicles always seen in war-torn countries. Not necessarily the Hilux Surf, which was obviously the Forerunner with the back, but the Hilux with just the bed, and you would see machine guns mounted on them all the time, and they would be all just geared up for combat, and just because these things would not die, these vehicles would not die. This is a little bit different engine that we saw in America, the 3YJ. I don't know too much about this. It might be the diesel version, but I know that in America we had the 20R, 22R as well in the Hiluxes. I actually did have a Hilux specifically, the American version. It was a 72 Hilux that normally comes with a 20R in it, but mine had a 22R, but it was not fuel injected, it was carbureted. So a little bit different because usually when you see the 22Rs, they're sometimes fuel injected or carbureted too as well. Pretty common swap. Pretty neat trucks. Very, very basic. I'm glad to be back in this kind of lineup with my 4th gen Forerunner too as well. All right, and this looks like a pretty simple one we're making today. So let's go ahead and just get the kit out and take a look real quick. Okay, diving right into the kit now. Looks like we've got a bottom piece here of the radiator support here. This is plastic. And we've got the top part of the radiator too as well. Plastic as well. Got a fan shroud here. Now this initially felt like metal, but it's actually plastic too as well. Got the radiator cap there, and I'll try to zoom in on this detail here so you can see it. Can you see that writing on there? That is so detailed. Let me see if I can zoom in even further. This is as far as my zoom will go. I apologize if it's a little bit shaky. Crazy detail in the radiator cap. Look how small this thing is. That's so awesome. Alright, we'll bring it back. Got another piece of the radiator here. actually take a look. Looks like it's going to be the inlet for the radiator hose. We've got AP screws, just a nice bag of them, and then we've got our radiator pieces. Be very gentle with these because I don't know. This might just be painted on, but actually, yeah, it's a nice casting. It is plastic, so let's focus in on these real quick. It is a dual-sided, so it looks like you're just kind of putting this together, one side and one side. But the depth of the piece itself, really cool. I'll zoom in on these two as well. Let's take a look. There's a lot of detail in these slats. It looks just like a radiator, which is really cool. Thankfully, they're not actually like a radiator where you have these fins up, because if you run your finger along these, you're just going to mark it all up too. So that one side, we'll take a look at the other side. And same as the back side too as well. Just plastic. Awesome. That's the rest of the kit. All right, we'll get working on it right now. All right, step one is actually we're going to take this back piece here with these two kind of registration marks on the front, and actually grabbing this top piece. They just lie right in these little nubs there. On this bottom piece, there's a couple marks there too as well, but this back side doesn't. We're going to take that back side and place it just like that, and it's kind of a balancing act because there is another piece here that we're just going to be laying on top, and it was a little difficult because you can tell which orientation it is because there's little cutouts right here, and then there's not down there. These ones stick out on top a little bit higher than the ones on the bottom, so all you gotta do is just lay this on top without the bottom piece falling out. And you can see we're set on that side. Awesome. And then we take some AP screws. We'll try to hold this together and get it attached without anything dropping out, because I know that if I put this down, it's going to break apart. So I'll just try to get one just threaded real quick. That. Do the opposite corner. Now I'm good. Take my time. Looks good. That's really cool looking. Next step. All right, next step, it looks like we're actually putting this piece in here. It looks like it fits right here abouts. So right about here, and it's got a little hole right there, you can see. It just gets pushed right in here. Try to get it so it fits pretty decently. Oh yeah, it fits real good. It's gonna give it a little push. Let's take a peek at that too as well. Looks good. And then let's see, figure out the orientation. So this is gonna connect. The engine is gonna be this way. Wait, is it? No. This is gonna be part on the front end, and then the engine's this way over here. So let's look at the radiator cap, and I want to get this kind of oriented correctly. So let me take a quick peek at the lettering in here. Okay, so it's going to go just like this, because I usually want the lettering to face out towards the vehicle. See that just right there. Super cool. What a cool detail. All right. Next, we're going to be taking the radiator fan, figuring out the orientation here. It's kind of actually pretty, or this is just a shroud for the elevator, radiator fan. This is actually, the fan is obviously going to be attached to the engine, which we've seen before. And we're just going to be placing it here, just like this. Yep, just like that. Now I'll grab some AP screws. All right, and there we go. Got ourselves a radiator. God, just the detail, again, I keep saying this over and over and over again, but just the detail that you'll see. And obviously this side's towards the engine because of the shrouds right here where the fan will be off the engine, with the water pump too as well. But then, again, you're never probably going to see this side that you're going to, that's facing towards the front. It's just going to be kind of hidden in the vehicle itself. What a cool detail. And it just looks so cool because, you know, this is how radiators look on the top and everything. Obviously, luckily they don't have like a rear underside coolant hose to mess around with, but we'll obviously get the top side coolant hose. You've got the inlet right there too. So really cool piece. And I just looked at the book. That's it. It was a really quick one today. Super easy part. Obviously pretty vital. But we're not mounting it today. We're literally just completing this piece, putting it to the side so that when we do have our next piece, we'll be able to mount it too as well. But let's take a look and see what our next piece is. And it looks like we got the oil cooler. So you got the oil cooler line and some hose too as well. We're probably going to be attaching all this stuff in the next part number 48. So pretty quick one today. We've got just a radiator built, but I want to thank you guys for joining me on part number 47 of the Toyota Sprinter Trueno AE86 build by DeAgostini. Really help the channel if you hit subscribe, like button too as well. Really do appreciate your support in this whole journey building this thing together. We're going to have parts like this. You know, we saw last week we had a massive part. So we're going to have parts like this. They come and go, but it's totally fine. I actually prefer them like this, where we have some that are just really involved and some that are just, you know, small pieces that we're building, and we'll just hang on to them for upcoming parts. But again, I want to thank you guys for joining me today. My name is Micho Makes. Really appreciate you support too as well. We'll see you guys in the next one. Bye for now.